Since Freedom House is so young, I actually haven't had that much experience with volunteers yet, but I would think that dedication and an open mind, open heart are really important to us too. One thing, because we are in our infancy, we really need folks in the community to kind of get the word out about Freedom House and about human trafficking. So I guess we would appreciate volunteers who are willing to kind of share our story with their networks. That way we can kind of be more out there. I just want to share a story. We've been working a lot with Lieutenant, John Vanek of the San Jose Police Department's Human Trafficking Task Force. And I've heard him speak a number of times, and one thing that really struck me was he said 20 years ago as a beat cop, he would go into a house where domestic violence was happening, and he knew exactly what was happening, but unfortunately the law didn't know how to deal with domestic violence yet because it wasn't a term. It wasn't kind of well known as it is today. And so that was 20 years ago, and he says today he can walk into any junior high or high school and bring up the term domestic violence, try and get people talking about it, and everyone knows what that means or is aware of the term. And so he calls human trafficking kind of like an emerging public issue. We're still trying to grapple with what really goes on in these situations, like our communities, our temples and churches and our schools and stuff. We actually are kind of still trying to understand how to serve this population that's it's been so traumatized. So kind of raising awareness is kind of a big issue for us right now. And so events like these are really great for us. And anyone who kind of has a passion for the issue and wants to join up with us would be very welcome.
So passionate is
passionate,
very important.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, cool. For you, your volunteers, especially those volunteers that want to work with clients, they require 40-hour training. So,
yeah.
If you could talk a little bit about what that 40-hour training is, and for your other programs, are there other ways for people that have, maybe a master's degree in sociology or something, a specialized degree, how they can offer their services in your different organizations?
So the 40-hour training it happened over 5 days this summer on Saturdays. And I think I mentioned before, we just have speakers from different organizations, governmental organizations, community-based organizations talk about their experience with human trafficking survivors. So one great person who came in was a representative from ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So because human trafficking is such a multinational, multicultural problem, a lot of the times victims, when they do find their way to help, they're actually misidentified as perpetrators. So in a very extreme case, if, say, someone maybe from a Korean American community who's, well, actually, I won't tell you, but basically, we're still learning. ICE came and talked about how they're really trying to reach out to the different communities and get people who speak the language to really understand what's going on and not kind of mislabel people as perpetrators and simply deport them, which was happening for quite a while, but Miriam, I think we've kind of grown.
What does ICE stand for?
ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the 40-hour training. But not everybody has 40 hours. I know, and not everyone's actually interested in being that close to some of the survivors. So we do have other options. One is to become a Freedom House advocate. So that requires about an 8-hour training. We're just asking people in the community to represent the organization to their schools or their workplaces or social justice events or anything really, just to kind of get the word out there about who we are and what we do. And we also have something that's been really popular is people have been throwing housewarming showers for Freedom House. So we set up registries at Target and Bed Bath & Beyond, and people kind of gathered their little communities together, had food and games and such, and people each brought a gift for Freedom House. So we've raised close to, I want to say, $4,000 in the past 3 months, just from generous people in the community doing that and getting us into their networks. And we've been able to furnish the house with lots of new items, which is really nice. And so that's another way people can get involved without, doing the 40-hour training or the 8-hour training. But I'll stop now and give my colleagues a...
So other ways, for example, if they have a higher degree, how can they get involved with your organization? Tough question?
Yeah. I mean, just because of, like in terms of mentoring, we'll take anyone who actually, you know, has an actual want to mentor. And I mean, like, if you have a higher degree, like the likelihood that some of the students that you'd be matched with, that they've been exposed to someone who has gone, you know, like higher education and gotten their master's or even a PhD or whatever. That's I mean, for the students that I've talked to, that's been very rare. You know, a lot of these kids have working class parents,
Oh, so you're saying like, as opposed to like, if you meet someone that's a doctor, you're actually going to a doctor's visit versus being a family friend, that kind of a situation.
What?
Meaning like if someone has a PhD, it's usually a professional contact as opposed to a personal contact.
There's like no, there's not the likelihood of them having like just actual like familial or just friendly contact, or just even having a positive role model that's achieved that, you know, level of education and stuff. That doesn't necessarily happen too often. I mean, another way though for that you can volunteer for Asian American Recovery Services is through like one of our other programs is Sister to Sister. So like I mentioned earlier that you can that we do workshops, and we do workshops based on lots of different things. We had like body image, we have sexual health, and we've had like social workers come in and actually talk about sexual health. We've had like people, you know, with master's degrees, you know, and just talk about like sexual health. Talking about we've even had just martial art instructors come in. And so if you have a talent, a skill that you'd want to share, and you believe that it would empower middle school and high school girls, then definitely come talk to me, and then I can connect you. It's the program Sister to Sister is once a year, but we like to come up with the actual like speakers and workshops and everything way beforehand. So if you got a skill to lend for a day, and run it for middle school and or high school youth, that would be amazing. And the girls always have lots of fun. This past year we actually had, I don't know if any of you know who Anna Hulaton is. She's a kick-ass boxer. Yes. She's a great role model, and she was there. So we get Jeannie Mai and then some other people that we try to get in from the Asian, you know, that like Asian community that can provide the girls with positive role models, positive words.
Great. And how about at UI Kai? If people want to volunteer by lending their skill sets?
I was thinking that pretty much everybody has something that they can teach, regardless of their background. We have some students that come through here who want to do an internship. And for example, we had a girl who was going through the kinesiology department at San Jose State, and she actually was interested in fitness and had no desire ever to really work with seniors, but she started to volunteer and teach our senior fitness class, and they absolutely fell in love with her, and she fell in love with them, and so now she has this really strong desire to go after a higher degree in senior fitness. And so that's just one example, but I think everybody has something to share, and we're always looking for people that, and times are tougher than ever now, we're always looking for people that can teach classes for us and put on educational workshops or put on a new program for people. So yeah, we're always looking for people, and it seems like we get, you know, as long as the interest is there for them to share their information, it's always a good reciprocation, I think.